Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, who's the best Smash character, and could it be King DDD? It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellis, joined as always by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. How's it going, Mark?
It's going great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm for the news episodes, I'm usually like sitting forward, like really ready to strike at a moment's notice, breaking news.
Coiled like a snake, some would say.
I'm like leaning back, just kind of enjoying the feature episode.
Yeah, just taking it in.
The chill vibe of Thursday.
The chill vibe of Thursday. If there's anything we can say universally about Thursday, chill vibes.
It's like being on a cruise.
It is like being on a cruise. Mark, we had originally planned to rank the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time dungeons
That's right.
on today's episode, but because my parents took up all my time this weekend by visiting Los Angeles from faraway places,
Bringing their cold weather with them.
I am not ready to have this conversation today.
And I think that's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But that means that we've got another weekend for you, the listener, not you, Mark, to email us your impressions of Zelda dungeons and how you would rank them, which ones you think are great, which ones you think are terrible. We're just talking about Ocarina of Time here. But if you have any of those opinions, you should email them to us at Nintendo Cartridge Society
at gmail.com.
And while you're emailing us, you may as well try and borrow my copy of Sonic Forces. Send me your address, and I will let you borrow this thing. I will send it to your home or place of business or P.O. box. I don't know. I don't know your life. And you can play it for as long as you want.
Now, one thing we did not want to do is because, we've been hyping up this Zelda Ocarina of Time dungeon ranking for a while. And so we know that you guys have had your heart set on a definitive ranking episode.
So we did the next best thing. We're not ranking. We are coming up with a definitive singular best character in Super Smash Brothers. So we are joined by our good friend Richie Root, and we get into all the nuts and bolts of Smash Brothers, and it's a good, fun conversation, but it's also super long. So it's enough screwing around, Mark.
Let's just get into it.
Let's get into it. We are joined today by writer and tabletop game designer Richie Root.
Hello.
Hi, Richie. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for
thanks for being here.
doing the show. I want to talk a little bit just about like what Nintendo and like what gaming is to you. Obviously, you do a lot with like D&D and like role-playing games. And we were talking before we started recording about Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest. And so, like, if you could just give me a little bit of an overview of, like, Richie's experience with games.
Okay, so here's my family legend, and I'm not 100% certain this is how accurate this is, but I believe it to be. My mom and dad got married and had me when they were super young, and they didn't have a lot of money, and my mom sent my dad out to get food for a couple weeks, and he brought home a Nintendo instead. And so they ate like nothing for like 2 weeks, but we had a Nintendo.
This is original NES we're talking.
This is original NES, 1986. Oops, I'm dating myself. But yeah, so that's like where it started, and we would sit there and like play, the original Zelda and Duck Hunt and Mario and everything, and like it never ever stopped. And then I got into like tabletop role-playing games, but like I still spend so much time playing video games. And
it's a hard like hobby to shake, right?
It is.
I know I've gone through like a couple different periods in my life where I've had to like
forcibly make myself stop playing games, or like where I've reached a point where I'm like, this is out of control. I need to stop doing this.
And I will do so in 1 hour.
Or I will do so for 1 week, and then I'm right back to it.
Yeah.
I think for me, like the longest stretch of not playing games, there was a period after college where I was living with 2 of my friends from college, and like we had an Xbox, a PlayStation, and a Wii in the house, and so like it was, there was always something on the TV, and so we were always talking about and always thinking about video games, and then at some point I was like, I just need to stop. I'm just gonna stop, and I did for maybe a month, and then Street Fighter 4 came out, and I was like, ah!
Yeah, we have like every Christmas that there was a new Zelda out, we would wait, and then we would play it as a family together. And like I would
really
play
cool.
it, and like my mom and my dad and my sisters would be like sitting around figuring out the puzzles, and like that was like a tradition, is we would sit there for days on end and just all play it together. But I always had to have the controller.
That's like the perfect way to play a Zelda game.
Yes, very much so.
That's how I played through Twilight Princess. Not with my family, but in college, or the year after college, I stayed on and worked as a hall director. And basically the door to my apartment was always open, and people would just come in and like play Zelda with me. It was basically me playing Zelda, but then like keeping track of, like I'd pick up the double hook shots and be like, all right, so you can go here, 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 and here.
That sounds fun. I've never played Zelda like that with other people.
It's so good.
Helping out.
I think it's like the perfect way to do it.
And that for me goes back to, again, when I was a kid with the original Zelda on the NES. My mom and dad would play because I was a baby, and my mom would draw maps because there weren't any maps, so she would like draw maps along as he like went through dungeons and stuff. It's the best way to play it. We ended we didn't do it for the Switch version, but we did it for last Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
But I had to come back to LA for a week, and in that time, the Wii died and lost all of our save data.
Oh no!
About 3/4 of the way through, and the tradition ended. We never went back.
That's a tradition killer right there.
Yep.
I also feel like it would be a little bit weird for Breath of the Wild because it's so open that like part of the fun of Breath of the Wild is just like feeling lost by yourself.
Yeah.
In this vast open world.
And I've been playing that with my girlfriend. And it's nice. I'm like halfway through it, and it's very nice. Like with the shrine of just like figuring it out together, and then she can kind of zone out while I'm going and hunting and doing whatever, and then like figuring out another puzzle, and
that's super cool. So we are gonna talk
VR.
about we are VR. Sure. What is that? What are you doing? When you say VR?
It's I don't even. You know what? I couldn't even tell you.
No,
It's something like we are VR. It was like for like VR Troopers.
VR might have been VR Troopers.
I think it was VR Troopers. I have no idea what it is, but it's lodged somewhere in my brain.
VR Troopers and the were they called the Mighty Beetleborgs or just Beetleborgs? Beetleborgs?
The big bad Beetleborgs.
Were they big bad Beetleborgs?
I believe.
Mark,
I don't know. I'm
Mark.
I don't know what the Beetleborgs are.
Mark, you're holding out on us.
I don't know what the Beetleborgs are.
I believe they were the big bad Beetleborgs, but I could be wrong.
And
the mighty Beetleborgs.
That's right. They had their hit. What's the name of that song?
No one knows.
The Boston song. Doesn't matter. That was just you did that VR thing, and I was like, that's something. We can't.
It's
let that
absolutely something.
But we're not here to talk about the Beetleborgs or the VR Troopers.
And it's good because we know nothing
Almost
about
nothing
it.
about them.
Zero.
We have exhausted.
We're not even sure what
our
they're called. All we know is that they're sort of Power Rangers ripoffs.
The Beetleborgs are Power Ranger ripoffs?
I think so.
Do they turn into beetles?
I think they're Borgs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Robots of some kind.
That's fair.
I think they're a Power Ranger ripoff.
Yeah, they turn into beetles.
They sound to me like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoff.
That does sound right.
But I don't think that they are like half human, half beetle. I think
they're all beetle.
They're
Or
all
they're
human. They're all human. Then they're all beetle. But are they like big metal beetles?
I think they're like
it's
the
like a
blue
power.
beetle.
They would be like the if the Megazord was all beetles.
Gotcha. That makes total
Different
sense.
kinds of beetles.
Turning into a bigger humanoid
well, into
beetle.
a man. Yeah. That always turns into a man in the end.
Yeah.
Speaking of always turning into a man in the end, we are talking about Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
That turns boys into men and anyone into men.
And specifically, we're going to be getting around to the topic of who is definitively the best Smash Brothers character.
Because all of our rankings are always definitive, but this time they will be especially definitive because we have a third mind in
So a tie is not possible.
Not possible.
There is no tie, and once we come up with our final answer, there can be no debate on the topic.
And I imagine this is going to be like 12 Angry Men levels of...
Absolutely.
100%.
But just like 12 Angry Men, there will be a truth that we will come to.
That's true.
But before we get into, because we each brought to the table our 5 favorites. We don't know who each other's favorites are, but this will all come to light. Which Smash Brothers game for each of you is like the one that you think of when you think of Smash?
Yeah, for me it's, and I always get the subtitle mixed up. For me, it's the GameCube version.
Melee, right?
Yes.
Slash almost like barely edging out the Wii version.
Brawl.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's principally Brawl, the Wii one, which I understand is not like people's favorites. But then like the runner-up for me is Smash 4, the 3DS Wii U one. I never really had Melee as a like growing up, or like when it came out, I wasn't really playing games that much. Like as I was going away to college, so like that one just didn't hold that much for me. Mark, what about you?
Melee's the one that I have probably put the most time into with other people, and so it's the one that I have the most fond memories of. Brawl, I bought it when it came out, but I didn't really know anybody that liked playing games, and so I didn't play it that much, especially because the online for Brawl was terrible. It didn't work.
Yeah.
So there's only so much you could play by yourself. And then I have only played a little bit of the Wii U version, but I own the 3DS version, and so I would say that's probably it's probably the best Smash Brothers, but I haven't played it enough to say for sure. So that's probably like my runner-up.
Yeah,
so like and Melee and then Smash 4.
And so, Richie, do you have much experience with Smash 4? Like,
not much.
Sure.
I've watched tournaments on Twitch a bunch.
Very good.
That is what I will say. But I have not played much of it. I wish I had.
It's a really cool game. We were talking before we started recording that it'll probably come to Switch in some form.
Oh, God willing. God willing.
God willing.
From your mouth to God himself's ears.
God is, of course, a subscriber to Nintendo Cartridge Society.
And rumored to be DLC for when it comes to Switch.
That's right. The Hand of God.
Master Hand of God.
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. Hand.
That's Mr. Hand to you, sir. All right. So these the characters that we're going to be bringing up here could be from any iteration of the game, and so whatever that means. How do you guys want to do this? Do you want to go around and like each do one at a time?
Yeah.
Or let's do that. And
now, are we giving our reasons for why there are favorites here, or are we just?
Yeah, I think so. I think we should give our like reasons behind it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and then we can loop back around on. We can make more fully formed arguments as we go. So, Richie, since you're the guest, let's start with you.
All right, I'm gonna start off with my number one pick.
Number one, starting with number one.
I'm starting with number one because I don't want anybody to steal it. This is my character. This is my signature character.
Okay,
I love it.
Most hours played. My most beloved character.
Oh my God.
Oh wow.
Jigglypuff.
The Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff is the worst character, and I love her. I don't know.
It could be either, right? Because Pokemon have to be male and female, so they can.
Yeah.
They can be gender. What
I love.
Is there a hat that you like to put on the Jigglypuff?
I like the sun hat.
I love this.
I love
Richie,
the sun hat.
A man after my own heart.
The hat options are exceptional on Jigglypuff.
I agree.
All of Jigglypuff's attack involve making yourself vulnerable for longer than the attack actually is worth doing.
Yep.
Either singing which kind of works, but then they're awake before you can do anything
because you're still sleeping.
Or landing the most difficult attack where you fall asleep and you have to fall asleep on their head exactly right. And if you do, the few times you do, it's such a big hit.
Yeah.
But every other time, you just land next to them asleep.
So let me ask you this: when you play as Jigglypuff, so you say that is your most hours played?
Yes.
Are you doing that like to troll the people that you're playing with?
No,
or...
I'm doing that to do well as a difficult. Because I also like playing a character that people don't play. I'm a big I love playing the things that aren't popular, and I'm a big fan. Like I love Jigglypuff's jump down like corkscrew attack.
Yeah.
Like I legitimately think she's not a bad character either, and her like Super Smash where she gets enormous and just screams Jigglypuff. Like I truly love Jigglypuff.
So you're good with Jigglypuff.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, being good with Jigglypuff is just being okay,
surviving,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just getting by.
Yep.
I have won multiple games with Jigglypuff.
Very good, Mark. Let's hear. I mean, let's all come out swinging with our number one.
Okay, all right. Well, my number one is also a Pokemon. It is Pikachu, but specifically Pikachu from the original Super Smash Brothers
on the Nintendo 64.
On the Nintendo 64.
Wow,
that version of Pikachu was awesome.
He's way OP, right?
Yes,
very much so.
Okay.
Yeah, way overpowered. So that's probably why I was good with it. It was so unbalanced. And then like Melee came out, and they had totally nerfed him. His grab wasn't as good. His like Pikachu scream that brings down a lightning bolt, just like didn't do as much damage. But before you could just like grab somebody and toss them.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was almost like they couldn't recover from it. Man, I miss N64 Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also just interesting that like as they broaden what Pokemon like are in this game, that like Pikachu feels a little bit less special.
Yeah,
totally.
I mean, it's like a Fire Emblem too. Like Marth used to be like a whoa, cool, who is this guy? And now there are like 7 other sword wielding Fire Emblem characters.
I do like a non-humanoid character. I will say they've leaned a lot towards humanoid characters, and I love just like a little animal.
Yeah, like Greninja's cool, but he is basically a ninja.
He's basically a man.
Lucario's just a guy.
Yeah. With like a tail.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll bring me to my number one, and I'm going almost with like pure the excitement for me when this character was announced. I'm going Cloud, baby.
Oh wow,
interesting.
Cloud may also be a little bit OP in Smash 4. But this is Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
Final Fantasy VII for me was one of those games that was like, look out, video games can be more than you think they are, And he plays so they did this a couple times in Smash 4 where when you pick a character, it's suddenly like playing the game that they're part of. Ryu plays a lot like a Street Fighter character, and Cloud has like this limit break bar that he builds up from like taking damage, and he just feels a lot like playing.
I like that
Cloud, and he's just so cool. And like Cloud is like one of my first video game loves that I will never get over.
So is Cloud your go-to character when you pick up Smash 4 now?
Cloud is the character that I've put the most time in with on Smash 3DS for sure. I also spent a lot. I wanted so badly to 100% Smash on 3DS, which means doing that. I forget if it's called Smash Run. There's a weird single player mode where you're just like, it's like the Subspace Emissary except on like a big open map and with no story. And I would always bring Cloud into that, because like he can just like mow through dudes, and like I don't know, there's something very satisfying about throwing out like his limit breaks. And
so I haven't played like with any of the DLC characters.
Yeah.
So who does Cloud play like in the base game?
I mean,
like what kind of character is he?
He's a little bit like the sword wielding characters. But
your Roys, your Marths.
Kind of your Roys, your Marths, but not quite as like slow. Like he's got a little bit more speed to him, and all of his like kind of forward moving attacks like have a almost like screen clearing effect. And like all of his special moves are, moves that you see him do in Final Fantasy VII. So like he's just sticking that sword out in front of him, and like everything clears out.
What's his like final smash?
is Omni Slash. So
yeah.
that's where he just like beats you up with his sword and like, hits like 18 times and then you explode.
Cool.
All right. My second pick.
Yes.
I went with, to me, the character I think about when I think of Super Smash Brothers. The iconic, to me, Super Smash Bros. Character. That is Captain Falcon.
Captain Falcon.
There is nothing to me that screams Smash Brothers more than the phrase Falcon Punch.
Yeah.
That, like, especially the original Super Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, there's something so satisfying about that attack of just, like, long wind up. Everyone knows it's coming because it's just Falcon Punch! And it just, like, then you hit with it, you miss 20 times, and then you hit with it, and it's just, like, everyone goes, like, oh! Like, he is Smash Brothers to me, even though I don't play him that much in newer versions.
Well, and it's funny because Falcon, like the franchise that Falcon is from, pretty much doesn't exist anymore, like F-Zero. So he really is identified probably more with Smash Brothers in the modern era than he is with F-Zero.
Well, and even in F-Zero, you're not really playing as Captain Falcon. You are, but like you're driving his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they pulled this character out of like the driver's seat to be like, no, now he's like punching with flaming punches and stuff. Like,
yeah, he can punch real hard.
Right.
He can race cars and he can punch real hard.
And his final smash, I believe, is cars driving into people.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. Yeah.
And I mean, any level that's like associated with him is gonna have that cool F-Zero music.
Yep.
So like, yeah, he's just cool. Captain Falcon is just straight cool.
And there's something satisfying about his jump up attack where he like grabs you and pauses for just a second before like blasting off of you. It's a very satisfying move.
Good pick, Richie. Good pick.
Okay, so my second one is Little Mac.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, so first of all, he's hot.
Yeah.
Let's just admit it.
Let's
like
admit
Little
it.
Mac
Let's talk about
is a
it.
good-looking dude. Everybody wants
I'm looking
to look
at his
like Little
amiibo
Mac.
right now, and you are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good-looking man.
He's very handsome.
It shouldn't surprise anyone that's listened to our ranking shows before, but we are using amiibo to represent
right, yes.
all of these characters for just ease here.
But also he is a really cool character to play. Because he has no like air. He can't jump. He's pretty useless like in the air, but on the ground to make up for that, he's a little bit, I guess I would say, like overpowered.
Yeah. He's got defined strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
He feels like a technical character almost. That like you need to figure out which of his moves like actually work for countering other people's stuff. But like when you do, it's it's actually rewarding.
He also feels like he's fast on the ground, but he feels like a little heavier when he's running. And he does this cool thing that like as you punch, it builds up like a little knockout meter. And then once you've built that up, you can land like a pretty devastating blow on a character. It's really fun. And he plays, I would say, pretty different from any of the other. I can't think of another Smash Brothers characters that plays like him. He's really cool.
Now let me ask,
do I wish I was Little Mac? Yes.
Well, you are famously you like to wear hoodies.
Yes.
This is a fact about you that everyone knows, Mark. Do you like to put Little Mac
in absolutely in his like pink like hoodie?
Yeah,
that's my go-to look.
Wireframe? No wireframe.
Nah.
No wireframe, Little Mac?
His butt's not as good.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough,
a great point.
fair
The butt on a wireframe is never going to be as good as the butt on a man.
That is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is a game on the original NES that I also spent so much time. I never beat. I could never beat, I believe, Soda Popinski, who was one of the later bosses. But yeah, so many hours put into it.
I wonder if they're ever going to bring other Punch-Out characters to Smash.
Yeah, that's an interesting question because there were so many interesting. I mean, Flamenco Joe, Soda Popinski,
who's King Hippo?
King Hippo.
He would be a good one.
King Hippo would be great.
I know. I wonder if they shy away from it because they're all built
racial
on, like,
stereotypes.
Yeah, but, like fun stereotypes.
And all.
Well, look.
Inextricably linked also to notably bad person Mike Tyson.
Yeah. But if we were to say that fighting games couldn't have horrible stereotypes as their characters, we would have no fighting games.
Yeah, great point.
Very true.
So my next pick is another from the most recent Smash, and it's got to be Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Oh, wow.
I love that he's included.
Yeah, I love that he's included too. So
That seems so nice, and that like fits Pac-Man, where it's just like he just wants to be
He
included.
just wants to be
he
there.
loves being included.
Here's the thing with Pac-Man and Smash. There's no like other platform that I know of or that I can think of that celebrates what Pac-Man's past in the same way that Smash does. For a lot of his moves, he turns into like a crappy little 8-bit sprite and like just chomps away. And he's got a level in there that has like the ghosts in it, and that you can collect like the fruit or like the big dots, and then you're a little bit stronger. So and like
by big dots, do you mean pack pellets?
I may mean the pack pellets, specifically the bigger dots.
That's correct.
The little ones. Thank you, Richie. But he'll also do stuff that's more reminiscent of like Pac-Man cartoon or like those 3D Pac-Man games. Like he drops a fire hydrant, which then like is a strong hit when he drops it, but then also like shoots water out, jets on either side.
He also has like a trampoline type jump, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
But everybody can use it.
Yeah, the trampoline sticks around for a little bit. But yeah, he's just a cool character, and I like to see. I guess I'm straying way outside of Nintendo for my favorite characters on here. So I don't know what's up with that.
Well, I feel like everything you said about Pac-Man, about the Pac-Man character in Smash, is one of the reasons why Smash Brothers is so, like, or I guess like everybody loves it.
Yeah,
is because it is respectful of like every character's history. Like they really like think about how they can best, bring that history into the game, into like the characterization of each individual fighter, which is so amazing because again, the primary focus of this is to beat each other up.
Yeah,
and they still find such like unique and imaginative ways to honor the history of each character.
All right, Richie.
All right, here's my third pick. The Wii Fit Trainer.
Whoa.
Very good.
This is the weirdest thing they could have possibly included, and I think it's great.
So this was one of mine.
Okay, good.
So I guess we'll both defend this together.
Sure.
No, keep going, Richie.
So I have a very distinct memory of the Wii Fit Trainer. In college, when we got a Wii, my girlfriend and I said we're going to use this Wii Fit, and we bought the Wii Fit board, and we're like, we're going to use it. Great. So you put your little Mii in, you weigh yourself on the board. Instantly, both of our Miis turned into fat Miis. It definitely includes a sound as your Mii's stomach expands. So insulting right off the bat. And then second, we were using it for like a week or two, and then one day my girlfriend's using it, and she had the female Wii Fit trainer, and one day the dude shows up when she logs in, and he says, "Hey, sorry, your trainer wasn't feeling well today. I'm gonna be here today."
What?
It was the strangest thing for them to put in there.
What?
Just like, sorry, she couldn't be here. She had a family thing, and like. And he just ran that session, and then the next day she was back like normal. But what a strange thing!
Well, that's so weird. Like they're just like, well, we put the guy in there. He should at least jump in every now and then.
I think it's so funny because that would happen in real life,
of course.
And
but
so they're
why
like,
would you put it in the game. Anyway, I love that. I just love that it's included because it's like pulling stuff from like the little strange places of the Nintendo universe is so fun to me. And then also like somebody who's like not exactly fighting but is like doing yoga, and like it mimics fighting but is like its own distinct style.
Yeah,
I think it's very interesting.
And it's not just yoga. Like there are like the yoga moves. Like she's got that like centering herself,
the sun
move.
salutation, and the deep
which
breathing,
like heals her a little. Right, it heals her a little bit.
I think it like boosts her attack.
Yeah, maybe that's it. And then like there's also a like a soccer ball thing that like, or maybe it's a volleyball. It's something that like she throws up and then like hits again. Like jumps up and spikes it. So like she almost becomes more of like representative of the whole Wii series. So like Wii Sports Resort, and all of that too. Yeah. Like she brings all of that into the game, which Mark, you and I have talked a lot about how the Wii series of games is just gonna disappear.
Yeah.
And like Wii Fit Trainer will live on.
Yeah.
Like she'll be back in the next Smash for sure.
Oh, I certainly hope so.
I also like the Wii Fit Trainer because she's doing like the yoga poses and like volleyball and things like that. It's almost like a scene from like Baby's Day Out or something. You know, like the bad guys wandered into a yoga studio and everybody's just doing yoga, but they get getting kicked in the
And
face
they get
and
pelted
stuff
by
like that.
balls.
That's so funny. That's so very funny.
I also think there's something very striking about the design of the Wii Fit Trainer
Yeah.
in both the male and female versions, that they have this like white skin, black yoga pants,
Almost like grayish. Yeah.
yeah. It's ashen almost.
Yeah.
They're like Kratos, is what they're like.
Yeah.
And then this brightly colored top. And like I think they all all of the colors, every variation on the Wii Fit Trainer looks cool. And so I like it a lot. It's a really good pick.
Our first double pick.
Our first double pick.
Okay, so my third pick is Samus.
Great pick.
Very
Now,
good.
okay, so this one is not actually for me because I am not good at playing Samus.
Right.
But I would be remiss if I didn't include her in the top as a shout out to my younger sister who would play Samus every time and would just destroy with Samus.
How would she do it? Like what?
I don't know. She was just really good. You know, Samus has like that charge shot and everything.
Shot, the like where she like rolls up into a ball in the air and like sucks you in and does a bunch of damage.
Yeah, it's like all about
screw
timing.
attack, probably.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm terrible with Samus. I can't do anything. But Samus is a great character, and I know this because my little sister would just destroy everybody.
And
with
an
Samus.
an original contender.
Yeah,
I'll say
yeah,
like,
also true.
A series standout.
Yes. And yeah, like help set the tone for like what the series could be. There's something.
Yeah.
Samus is, you know, obviously a more like sci-fi kind of like bent on like this whole universe, and actually like looking over the rest of the roster,
Less cartoonish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like she still comes in there with like these moves that are like super over the top and like shooting missiles at people.
Yeah, and not even people, but like Yoshi.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
like there's something like, because that's to me the draw of Smash is
Yes.
is the fun, like seeing these weird things like go up against each other, and it just makes sense in this universe. And like, yeah, something about the original Smash of like Samus versus Yoshi and Kirby is just like, oh, these are different things.
Yeah.
But it's one universe.
Well, and also like so much of like the other Nintendo properties that like aren't in the sort of cute realm fall into the like fantasy realm, like the you know, swords and shields and stuff. So like your Links and your Fire Emblem characters, they can all sort of blend together at some point. But like Samus is like a thing sort of on her own. Like maybe she's similar to the Star Fox characters. Maybe, but they're also
Yeah, I don't think so. I think she's like more realistic in a weird way. Also notable because used to be one of the transforming characters.
Yes.
So you could go between Samus and Zero Suit Samus.
That's correct.
Yep.
They've since been like split into individual characters.
Yeah.
Speaking of since have been split into individual characters, my next pull is Pit.
Ooh.
Kid
And I had
Icarus.
Pit in there as well.
Our second double.
Second repeat character. So Pit for me is another one of these things where like he's iconic in Smash, and like the character is only seen like a resurgence because of Smash.
Yeah.
There was Kid Icarus, and then there was I forget even what the second one is called on Game Boy. It's not a good game.
Yeah.
It's, like maybe I want to say Gods and Monsters, but that's something else.
That's something else.
But you know, then like the series is dead forever, and then Pit comes back as this like cool, confident, like double blade wielding like angel of mayhem, and like he's just so cool. Like there wouldn't be a Kid Icarus Uprising, the 3DS game, if he didn't make such an impression in Brawl.
Yes.
Brawl.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, okay, so because we're doing this top to bottom instead of bottom to top, I guess I will give away one of my other picks. But one of the reasons I like Pit is because I was a Link player for a long time, and as a fighter, Pit reminds me of Link a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like
He's got blades
cooler.
and bows.
He has he has blades and bows, and he can fly.
Yep.
Right. So he's like Link with wings, which means he's
Or Jigglypuff
awesome.
with a sword.
Jigglypuff with a sword.
Really, all of these guys could be described as a Jigglypuff with a sword.
With this and that.
Also, I was one time, I was at a Shakespeare in Griffith Park. This is maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I was out visiting LA before I even moved here. And before the show, Sarah and I were talking about, I think, Super Mario Galaxy or something. And some kid, some like 7 or 8 year old kid heard us talking and was like, "Are you talking about Mario?" And we were like, "Yeah." And so we were like talking with this little kid for a little bit, and he really liked Smash. And I was like, "Oh, what's your favorite character?" And he said, "I like Pit because he's handsome."
Oh, well, he just hadn't met Little Mac yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's right.
Yeah, Pit's for boys, Little Mac is for men.
I think that's right.
I think that, yeah.
All right, good. So we've got a few repeat
We've
characters
got
here.
two repeats here.
a
Mark
few
and
more to go
I
through.
need to match up,
Right.
so that we can make this work. Here's my fourth pick, Wario.
Good pick.
Wario.
Oh, Wario's good.
Now, here's why Wario. I like Wario in general. We were saying before, if only there was a Waluigi, which I'll hold out hope for. But I like Wario a lot, and I don't really like Wario. But but it's clear that somebody had fun designing him. Somebody
Yes.
said, "You know what? Go as far as you want."
Right.
And they
How obnoxious can you make this character?
exactly. And like he's got a motorcycle. He's passing gas and eating people halfway. Like
Chomp, chomp.
he's literally riding a motorcycle over people, and then when you fall off of it, somebody else throws it at you.
Right.
Because it's so it's over the top in a way that like Wario is, and it's very merited, but it's just like clearly like it speaks to the philosophy in my mind of Super Smash Bros. In general, of just like take this thing, make it the most silly, fun version possible, or the most serious, fun version, whatever.
Right.
Take the essence of the thing and push it as far as you can.
Yeah.
And to me, that is what Wario is.
Wario also like so much of my experience with Wario is in the WarioWare games, which are just distilled like 7 seconds of chaos, followed by another different 7 seconds of chaos.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what playing as Wario is, and that's what playing against Wario is. That like it becomes like this weird game of like trying to manage this multifaceted threat. I don't know. He's a really cool character, and I like Wario a lot.
So I hope that Waluigi is in a future Smash iteration.
I as well.
So Wario I have liked as a character less since maybe it is from Smash that it happened when he became like that like burping, farting.
I don't love
like,
that part
character.
of it.
I think it's gross, and that's why I think as a culture we have moved on to idolizing Waluigi because he still has dignity.
Well,
Yes.
but he only has dignity because we don't know him.
It's
That's my fear
Yeah.
of getting Waluigi in Smash is that he will also become
He will
like
reveal
gross,
himself to be a creep.
like a 12-year-old
Yeah.
boy.
Like Wario's
know?
Frasier and Waluigi's Niles. Right?
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
Like, right?
Sure.
I mean, yes.
I mean, yes.
Yes.
Let's say yes.
Yeah.
So who's the Martin Crane in that?
Falco.
There we go.
I mean, it's airtight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so because Wario is cool, I just wish he wasn't so gross.
I wish he wasn't so gross too, but for somebody that appeals to, it's like,
yeah.
But
yeah.
I do mostly. I just like he rides a motorcycle. It's like, why does he ride a motorcycle?
See, I feel like even if him being gross isn't for us, like we can like the fact that they so unapologetically are like, yeah, he's just gross.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mark?
Well, okay, so I think this will be my last one, right?
Yes, 'cause
we
you
had
and I
doubled up.
doubled
Okay,
up,
so
right.
mine is Link,
A classic.
a classic. He's
Another of the OGs.
He's like Mario, but not boring in that he's like he's a well-rounded character. He's not like super strong in any one area, but he'll get you through. But he's not Mario.
Yeah.
He's not as boring as Mario is in this game.
Let me ask you, as far as Link is concerned,
Do I think he's hotter than Little Mac? No, I don't.
well, no,
That's
I mean, come on.
objectively true. He's
Yeah,
not.
yeah. No, so there's always like another version of Link,
Mhm.
either a young Link
Toon.
or a Toon Link. I guess that's it. Those are the only other options. But how do you feel about those Link variation characters?
I have liked Toon Link more than Young Link,
Mhm.
only because he visually is much more appealing, I think.
Yeah. Like, what's the why have Young Link if you have Link?
Right,
Like, I
it's
get
like
why you
the-
have Toon Link.
It's like the Pika to the Pikachu, where you're just like, what
Yeah.
am I doing with this?
Yeah. It's just a
Who am I
smaller.
fooling?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Link's moveset is like fun and compelling. I like
Yeah.
that he's got bombs that he can
Mhm.
like hurl that, detonate kind of differently.
Side tournament. What's the tunic of choice
Oh.
for everybody? What's your Link tunic of choice?
Oh boy.
I
that's-
usually do just like the red, like fire.
The
tunic.
Goron tunic.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's
I go with
yeah,
the Zora, the blue one.
with the blue one. I honestly don't use Link that much.
You lose.
So yeah, you're right.
You lose.
I like the fierce deity variant where he looks like the from Majora's Mask
Mm.
when you put on the fierce deity
Yeah.
deity mask. Or like the dark Link. I like
mhm.
those two. But I'm
Shadow
also
Link.
just a fan of classic green. So I don't have an answer.
Very good.
So
What's your
my
fifth pick?
my fifth pick, and I guess then my last, is Mr. Game and Watch.
Mm.
I love
now-
Mr. Game and Watch.
Mhm.
I like Mr. Game and Watch for a lot of the same reasons that Richie likes the Jigglypuff, in that he feels like a very trolling character.
Yeah,
Mhm.
when you're fighting Game and Watch, you're like, this should be easy, and
Yeah,
then he's
it's
mean.
not. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's like,
He flipped a pancake
yeah,
at me.
and it's hurting me. There's so many, like, he has so few frames of animation.
Mhm.
And it makes me laugh almost every time he lands a blow, because it's like one image of him winding up and another of like a hammer coming at you.
Yep.
And then you fly across the screen.
Yep. And there's that like random number element to
Yeah,
it,
yep.
which is so funny. Of like the one number has like a really crazy hit, but the other ones are much
Yeah,
less.
much lower. Yeah. So, and he's also, another piece of like weird Nintendo history
Yeah.
that would otherwise be just gone entirely.
Mhm.
So like, we'll look back on the Wii Fit trainer, 15 years from now and be like, she's still in these games, but no one remembers the Wii series of games. Ditto Game and Watch.
Yeah.
And also that Game and Watch level that you like
Yes.
can't rotate
Yeah.
the camera because it's on
Uh-huh.
a 2D plane
Yep.
is so funny to me. So yeah, he's one that I have on my list mostly for comedy reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last pick, and I do get 5.
Oh,
Is Duck Hunt.
that is a great pull.
I love Duck Hunt. Talking earlier, like I said, we had a Nintendo from like almost as long as I can remember. We had a Nintendo, and the thing that I always get reminded of is Duck Hunt is my first game.
Mhm.
When I was 3 years old, maybe they would give me the little light gun,
Yeah, the
and I
zapper.
would put it directly up to the TV and like still miss the ducks because I was a baby.
Right.
But like I would do that for long periods of time, just touching the TV with the, and it was so fascinating to me as a child of just like, this can do that, like how does this, and like trying to figure it out, and it like that's the thing that got me into gaming is Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
And also there's something so funny to me about you are playing the dog and the duck as friends, which
Who
that
knows?
is lore-wise, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but okay. And also that ostensibly there is somebody shooting at the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You are basically playing the game Duck Hunt.
Yes.
The character, because it's just named Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
I always refer to it as the Duck Hunt dog because
Yeah.
that's how I feel like what I'm controlling.
But that duck's half the attacks.
The duck is half the attacks and the gun, because like
Yeah.
they'll kick that can out and
Uh-huh.
then you can push the button again to like shoot the can.
Mhm.
Ostensibly there's somebody pointing a gun at the screen while
Yes.
you play.
Yes. Which is amazing, and it's not like it is pulling stuff from Duck Hunt, but it's also pulling
Some of the
things
old
from
like the
Hogan's
salute.
Alley.
Uh-huh.
So like it is a sort of all-encompassing light gun character.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
To me, that Duck Hunt, the character and the game are like the spirit of Nintendo, of just like this innovative, weird thing that like kind of did it like so early on and like was just kind of joyful little like fun thing. And I just love Duck Hunt.
Yeah, that's a great pull. All right, guys.
It was hard to narrow it down to just 5. This is going to be even harder.
I know. There are so many good characters that are left.
Yeah, we've got a lot of awesome characters represented here. So, I think we have 13 characters.
I'm gonna make a pitch right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's knock out Wario.
Wario.
We know Wario's not gonna be number one.
And I feel comfortable knocking out Link.
You know what?
I think that's right.
I think that's right because he's always gonna be great.
He's good,
but is he number
he's not
one?
Remarkable.
He's never gonna be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Link.
And sorry, Wario. I guess
not sorry, Wario.
Not sorry, Wario.
Screw you.
Get out of here, Wario.
Well, he's on his hog.
He
passed gas.
As an act of contrition.
No, you don't have to.
I know I don't have to.
It's only if you think that it's fair.
Yeah.
I do think that it's fair. I'm going to take Cloud out of here because I think that Cloud is a very personal choice for me that doesn't necessarily represent like his role in Smash, generally speaking.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
I don't think I would put him number one.
Yeah,
so.
I wouldn't put him number one.
Right.
So.
And that's all we're shooting for right now.
Right, yeah.
Is who's number one.
All right, so we've got Pikachu, Jigglypuff, Captain Falcon, Lil Mac, Pac-Man, Pit, Samus, the Wii Fit Trainer, Duck Hunt, and Mr. Game & Watch.
Very good.
I did it.
You did it. All right. How
arguments
do
to
we
be
move
made?
on
Are
from
we
here?
so,
Arguments to be made here all around.
All right. Well, let's look at
what else do we see as the bottom here? Like,
I would pull.
That's a tough.
I would pull Pac-Man.
You would pull Pac-Man?
I love Pac-Man.
I love Pac-Man too.
But is he the best Super Smash Brothers
He's
character?
not the spirit. He does not embody. Yeah.
Start it over.
Start it over. It's Meta Knight.
It's Mario. Screw it.
He's not like if you were to
Mark is looking
be like
straight
an
in Pac-Man's eyes
ambassador
right now.
for Smash Brothers. Pac-Man is not the ambassador for Smash Brothers.
Well, and if we remove Pac-Man, then we are left with only Nintendo and Pokemon characters.
I would count Pokemon as Nintendo.
Which especially
I feel like
in
it's
the West.
It's a soft.
No, I think in the West
All
it's
right.
like I think everywhere it's strongly associated with Nintendo.
I associate it, but that doesn't mean it's right.
all of this is to say like Pac-Man.
I love that
I
he's
just
there.
don't think. Yeah.
And
all right.
He speaks a lot to like what Smash Brothers has the potential to be. As does Cloud.
He's a great top 15 pick.
Yes.
He's just not number one.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is vicious.
This is vicious.
Look. They're all winners. It just comes down to like the details.
Well, here's another thing. Let's pick 2 random ones.
And just start squaring them off against each other.
Because somebody's got to beat.
Yeah.
You're right.
Somebody's got to beat. So if you can't beat one random person,
Well, so
you can't. Then you're not number one.
Right.
How many do we have here? We've got
2, 4,
So do we need to
6,
get rid of
8,
one
9.
more? Or
We
yeah,
gotta get rid of one more.
Okay.
Oh, if you guys even try to touch any of my picks.
All right, what were Richie's?
No, I already got rid of Wario, so you can't get rid of any of
I only have 2 left on the board here.
Okay, let's get rid of those 2.
I am going to make a case for, even though she was one of mine, the Wii Fit Trainer.
Make a case for getting rid of her?
For getting rid of her.
Oh, man.
She's a great character.
You know what?
For all the reasons that I enumerated, but like, it doesn't feel like smashed me in the same way. Like, it's a very Nintendo thing.
You're very right. I love an underdog story is my problem. I would love to see the Wii Fit Trainer take this thing home.
Thing is, we got a lot of underdogs.
No, you're absolutely right. It's the same. It's lovely. I think it's great that she's there.
Mm-hmm.
But is she the best character in Super Smash Brothers?
We're talking creme de la creme. Probably not.
Probably
Wii Fit
not.
Trainer is hitting the road.
Ooh, that hurts.
Okay.
This is starting to hurt every single time.
Yeah,
and also I'm beginning to question my choices. I'm like, oh, we're getting rid of Wii Fit Trainer, but is that because she's not the best, or because she doesn't like fit the mold of what we think the best? You know, like, are we being beauty pageant about this?
I mean, maybe
Well, she's
she's got it going on, conventionally speaking. Right. Although a lot of these characters that we have remaining here, fine looking fighters.
Yeah, Game & Watch.
Hell yeah. Look at that shape.
What a real man should look like.
If only. I will say I love every character we have left. Except for 2 of them.
Oh.
But I won't say who. Unless I should.
Well, I mean,
here's what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Here, before we get into squaring off 2, Pikachu is annoying.
Wow.
I like Pikachu. I love Pokemon.
Yeah.
I love Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
That down B Pika
like
lightning strike.
bolt? Yeah.
So many times have I lost games because somebody stood under a platform and spammed that ability again and again, and I can't even get out of the air.
Have we played each other? It sounds like we played each other. Sounds like we spent a lot of time playing the N64 version of Smash Brothers.
Listen, I don't want to besmirch your character, but that is cowardly. I love Pikachu and I love Pokemon in general, but I feel like
I mean, he was nerfed for good reason.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
I could see the case for,
But he is very representative of Smash Brothers.
he is, but he's almost in a cliche way, almost like if we had Mario out here.
Yeah.
That's true.
Ooh, yeah.
Um,
He is the Mario of Pokemon.
That's
He
right.
is,
And
yeah.
I think we sent Link packing for kind of the same reason, right? That like it's too obvious of a choice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying your choices are obvious, Mark.
I mean, you just did.
I'm just saying this choice is obvious.
Look, I get
Goodbye,
it. Pikachu is
Pikachu.
going away. Yeah.
Rest in peace. He's also the only one we didn't have a proper amiibo for.
That's
That's
true.
right.
So that was
That's
bothering.
true.
Okay, so we are down to final 7 here.
Final 7. Let's get rid of one more if we can, and then start doing
and
matchups.
then start pairing them
Okay,
off.
so it's another one of my choices, but I feel comfortable getting rid of. Actually, it's hard. I am torn between getting rid of Samus.
Ooh.
Again, not because she's a bad character.
She's not.
She's great, but
she's not a character that you're sort of representing her here, but
exactly.
by proxy.
And I don't think that Smash Brothers is her best showing. Right?
I will
That's,
agree with that.
That's
Like,
true. That's true. Ooh.
And so for that reason, I am comfortable putting Samus back with the Horde.
That feels hard, but I agree.
yeah,
but
tough-
I do think
tough
she's
but
a
fair.
real iconic character. But do any of us love playing Samus?
No.
No, not
I don't
really.
think we. So I don't think any of us could honestly choose her as the
Right.
best character. Sorry.
It would
agree.
be dishonest.
It would
for
be
us to do
dishonest. So we've got 3 here.
We are down-
3 sets of 2.
Right. Our final 6 here. We've got Pit, Jigglypuff, Little Mac, Mr. Game & Watch, Duck Hunt, and Captain Falcon.
I love all these characters.
So are we doing this tournament
except
style?
for one.
I'm so
Is it-
nervous
is
to
it-
find out which one it
Is
is.
it Pit? Is that who you hate?
I won't say.
Here's the thing, because we both picked Pit. This is going to be a hard.
Well, if you hate like cheese, like people who characters that cheese,
Oh,
like
not exclusively.
okay.
Listen, I've done my share of cheesing.
We all have.
Because Pit, you can.
He might not
definitely cheese.
necessarily be the one I don't
You're right.
like.
You're right. You're right. Is it Jigglypuff? Is that like the big twist?
Yeah, that's the twist. Got it.
Okay. All right.
All right. Oof. Top 6.
So are we doing this like tournament style? So we're just gonna be like, out of these 2 characters, which one would survive, and then do it that way?
I think if somebody can't beat one person, then they can't beat all the rest.
Right.
Maybe we should do it double elimination style. So everyone that gets eliminated goes down to a loser's bracket.
Yeah.
And then the losers bracket have to compete against themselves, and you have to be eliminated. You have to lose 2 matchups in order to be.
I feel good about
eliminated.
that. All right.
Okay, so first matchup then is the Jigglypuff versus Pit.
Okay. The one I hate is Pit.
Really, Richie? No one knew.
I don't hate him, but like, do you, like. Oh, I love Kid Icarus. Like, no one's ever said that except the kid you met in the park, and that story was made up.
No, he was real, and he was discovering his sexuality there in the park.
Well, he was a child. Children grow up and they learn to love better things.
Here's the thing. I
Mhm.
don't disagree with you that, like, who loves Kid Icarus,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like the character transcends that
Mm-hmm.
in a way that the source material almost doesn't matter.
Whew.
I mean, I have no defense for Pitt. Like, I like him as a character, and he's one of my most played, but I don't feel that strongly about him.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, is he like? Is somebody gonna be like, "Oh, Super Smash Bros. You know who's great? Pitt."
That kid in the park.
That kid was made up. We've already established that.
He was like one of those tweets where like a kid was walking down the street and was like,
there was a 10-digit number.
Government's mean.
Right. There was a 10-digit number after the kid's name.
Yeah.
Are we sure you said Pitt and not like Jig?
Golly. Here's the thing. I also feel like maybe handling Jigglypuff with kid gloves.
You darn well better.
Because Richie loves him.
No, let me hear.
So much.
Let me hear your honest opinion about Jigglypuff.
I do love Jigglypuff's simple design. I love the fact that he sings to himself.
He's very cute.
I love that he wears a dumb little hat. But everything I like about Jigglypuff, I feel like I get there out of pity. and through no other. I'm not excited about him. I'm not. If this were just me, I would have Pitt win this matchup.
All right, so I think we've got 3 people, and we've got it. Let's have a quick vote.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to vote for Jigglypuff, if only because he is like a troll character, but I think that makes him more interesting than Pitt.
I agree. I also vote for Jigglypuff.
All right, so Pitt goes into the
losers bracket.
Into the losers bracket.
And you, my precious darling.
And Jigglypuff, the precious darling, goes into the winners bracket where he has suffered 0 defeats.
Little Mac versus Mr. Game & Watch.
So in a weird way, I will say that these characters are a little bit similar in that they don't fight like any other character in Smash. They are both very unique.
I will agree with that.
I think we all 3 like both of these characters.
Yeah, I think it's probably just going to come down to a vote, and unless we can all unanimously. Do you think we have a consensus between us?
I feel like the only way we would know that is if we vote.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
We may know before we I think it was obvious before we voted last time.
I can't intuit this one.
Right.
I can't intuit it.
All right. So we will now vote for the winner of this.
So
this
Little Mac is my choice out of these 2.
Fair enough. I love them both. I'm gonna vote for Mr. Game & Watch.
Now, is this like a Jigglypuff type situation where he's just more interesting to you, because of his limitations almost?
I don't like Lil Mac's association with Mike Tyson.
Okay.
I think he's publicly supported him.
And frankly, I don't think he's apologized enough.
No, I think you're right. They're both unique. I think Lil Mac is like a very niche, interesting character, and I like that that's how Smash Brothers is going. But I don't know that like if you're going to be the #1 greatest Smash Brothers character, if you can be so specialized.
Yeah,
I guess that's my argument.
But then, so why, if that is your reason for not doing Little Mac, why Game & Watch then? Just be like the historical factor?
Yeah, and he can still do a little bit of everything.
He's a versatile
character. He's a well-rounded character. And not that I love that Lil Mac is specialized, but like, could you be like the best Smash Brothers character if you can only really do one part of the game?
That's a good point. I mean, that's fair.
I think that's my. It
hurts my heart a little bit.
It's a very close call for me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm voting Game & Watch. So
ooh, down to the losers bracket with Little Mac.
So the losers bracket, by the way, looking very handsome.
Very handsome.
Very handsome.
And you know what? I just want to say, none of these contenders are losers.
No, everyone's a winner here.
No. I mean, all of them are loser. Not even in our conversation.
I thought about picking him.
No, you did not.
I did, but for the same reason.
That's a lie.
No, I really did. Because I pick him just to make people
I do
upset.
like that our winners bracket is like the quirkier character.
Yeah.
Me too. So that brings us to Captain Falcon versus Duck Hunt.
Oof. Tough for me.
For me, this is actually kind of an easy one.
Me as well.
Interesting. I can't tell which way, though. I could see either way being an easy one.
So I'm going to vote for Duck Hunt because it's so representative of a corner of Nintendo that like doesn't exist anymore. And like, I don't know, they found a super compelling way to make the dog's personality come out, and like he laughs, and I don't know, the whole thing is just fun and compelling, and I like it a lot. And I know that Captain Falcon is more of like he's a mainstay of the series, and people think F-Zero is cool, but like I gotta go with my gut and say Duck Hunt Dog.
So I'm gonna vote for. Oh wait, I haven't been able to vote last yet. I'm not gonna say. You go. Rick.
Oh, very fair, very fair. This is a real tough one. Because I really love Duck Hunt, but Captain Falcon to me does scream Super Smash Brothers. Literally.
Falcon Punch.
Yeah, Falcon Kick. So I'm gonna
Tiger Uppercut.
That would be strange if he said that. I'm gonna let's say Captain Falcon so that you get your final vote.
Okay, my final vote is this is so exciting. Is going to be Captain Falcon.
Ooh,
Because he pretty much is Mr. Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
sure. Especially in like the modern era, I feel like he is the original version of what you like about Duck Hunt, where it's like they took this character that almost doesn't really exist in Nintendo. I mean, yeah,
almost didn't exist in his own game.
Yeah, and turned him into something like interesting and special. And I feel like that's what they do with a lot of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had told me, or when a Pac-Man was originally, if you just told me that Pac-Man was going to be in the game, I would have said, how? Like, what does that look like? What does a Game & Watch or a Rob the Robot or a lot of these, like, what do they look like in Smash? And if you told me, like, Captain Falcon was going to be one of the original characters in Smash Brothers, I would say, why? Why Captain Falcon? But I feel like they've done such a good job of making him, like, an important part of the series.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love Duck Hunt. That's a close one for me too.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker.
So now we have 2 groups of 3. How do we proceed?
How do we do this?
So do we choose one of the bottom 3 to make it? Do we do like all 3 of these verses, and whoever wins makes it back up to the winners bracket?
Oh, to do 4?
And then we do 2 rounds of 2 and then 1 round of 1.
I think so.
Whoever makes it into the winners bracket can be eliminated in one matchup.
Yeah.
All of the people in the winners bracket still need to be defeated twice. This is the way this works.
I'll
let double elimination.
I'll let you do, because I have no concept of how that. So are we choosing one of these 3 bottom 3?
Or does one of them bow out gracefully because they're like?
Do they? I don't know.
Sure. Well, let's look at who we have in the losers bracket
Okay.
and see if we have an easy one that we can pull out of there.
So we have Duck Hunt, Pit, and Little Mac. We know how you feel.
We
about
know how
Pit.
I feel, and again, Pit's great.
Oh, and Little Mac, I guess.
I do love Little Mac. Oof.
Oh, this is tough.
This is tough.
I do not feel like out of the 2 that I have in here, Pit and Little Mac, I feel least strong about Pit. So if one were to go away,
you would say Pit.
That's the one I feel. I actually don't feel that strong about Duck Hunt Dog or Duck Hunt. So, yeah.
I like the idea of the matchup between Lil Mac and Duck Hunt for going to the winner circle.
I can agree with that.
So Pit.
Sorry, Pit.
Sorry, Pit.
Go back to
good
whatever
showing.
you do.
Flying around.
Talk to God. Are you a real angel?
Does Pit talk to God?
I'm not real.
That God?
No,
God is
that's
going to
the
be in
kid
Smash
the park.
5.
I know.
All right. So let's finish up the losers bracket. Our 2 contestants here are Duck Hunt and Lil Mac.
Ooh.
We have a strong top 5.
Strong top 5.
Very strong top 5.
In Lil Mac's case, very, very strong. Physically strong.
Right. Little beefy guy.
So Lil Mac, Duck Hunt. That's 2 classic Nintendo properties.
And it seems like you've got a deep personal connection to both of them. Both of those,
they both,
the original games.
Yes, very much so. It's a hard choice.
Oh, I know how I vote.
Well, okay. What is your case for one or the other?
So my case is, I vote for Duck Hunt. I think just purely on the fact that he's a character that I enjoy playing more. And that the original Duck Hunt game is another one that I, like Richie, was just, tink, put the zapper up to the screen and just pulled the trigger, and always wanting to find a way to shoot the dog. Always want to shoot the dog when he's laughing at you.
Yeah.
And then you can actually watch the dog get beat up in this game. I gotta go with Duck Hunt.
I'd ask you, Mark, to make your? Because I'm assuming you're going for Lil Mac.
Actually, okay, so here's where I'm torn is that Little Mac as a character that I play in Smash, I much more enjoy playing Little Mac. But as like a game series, I have no affinity really for Punch Out.
Sure.
And so between these two, if I'm really going to say which one best exemplifies Smash Brothers, I feel fine going with Duck Hunt.
We've also haven't established what we mean by is the best character. We've been very loose with that.
If we were to define it, it would ruin the game, Richie.
Oh yeah. Very fair.
Which of these characters is better?
Yeah.
That's all we're asking.
Yeah. And I feel like you can't. It's like the Olympic spirit. You can't really define the spirit of Smash Brothers, but we all know
very
it.
fair. We all know it.
So I'm at peace with Duck Hunt.
Moving back to because it may not. It just goes back to the winners bracket.
Right. Exactly.
And then faces an uphill battle.
I think I can agree with that. I think out of the two, I think Duck Hunt is the right choice.
And Little Mac made top 5. Like I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good. He's so scrappy.
Yeah.
He'll bounce back.
So long, Little Mac.
I love that he's included though. I love that he's unique.
All right.
Top 4.
So we've already had a Captain Falcon Duck Hunt Dog matchup, right?
Yes.
So
oh no.
Let's instead pit the Mr. Game & Watch.
I'm trying to
versus
arrange
Duck
these
Hunt.
so that Jigglypuff will have an easy matchup. I don't know what that is. No,
Well,
that was what I was trying to avoid.
Let's settle.
Out of the 4, do we have I wonder if we have a consensus out of the top, or we at least have 2 votes for one.
Interesting.
Oh boy.
Oh, we've got to be unanimous.
We do have to be unanimous. We are
unanimous.
only coming up with the best.
It's 12 Angry Men
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
divided by 3.
So we each represent, divided by 4, because there are 3 of us.
There's an empty chair next to me that I, for some reason, counted as a person.
Oh, we haven't been talking to the person in this other chair the whole time.
The bin of Altoids. I
Bin of Altoids, you like Olimar? Okay.
It would.
Well, Mark, what do you think? It sounded to me like you were leading to maybe we do have a winner.
Is everyone leaning towards one?
No, I do. I am looking at this and I'm having a very hard time.
Oh, I feel pretty good about Captain Falcon.
Interesting.
Captain Falcon, I think, is a very strong pick.
It's a very strong pick. I think all 4 of these, not a single one is weak.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah, not a single one, Mark. No, I see what's happening here.
Here is the thing, though. If we were to address these 2 lineups that we have, the 2 pair-ups.
Which is Captain Falcon versus Jigglypuff and Mr. Game & Watch versus Duck Hunt.
So Mr. Game & Watch versus Duck Hunt, I feel like these 2 characters made it through to the winners for very similar reasons.
Yeah.
And so I feel like
as did Jigglypuff and Captain Falcon.
So I feel like these I feel like these 2 are very similar characters.
Yeah.
Game & Watch and Duck Hunt.
I can agree with that.
So it feels right to me that only one of them would make it through. I actually don't really feel very strongly about either of these.
So in the pair up of Falcon v Jigglypuff, I give it to Captain Falcon.
Yeah, I give it to Falcon as well.
I don't. I never will.
Well, the Jigglypuff
is
going. That's his first defeat.
Yes, I believe.
Double elimination. Double elimination.
This is so complicated because even if we vote, right? Because we've been voting on all of these,
right?
And if it's, but we also said,
don't try to get ahead of it. Don't try to get ahead of it.
We can't get ahead of it. We can't get ahead of it.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
We can't get ahead of it.
We'll just get tripped on our feet.
That's right. Okay.
So Jigglypuff is down in the losers bracket again.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And
but
so
that's one loss. One loss for Jigglypuff.
He will go up against whoever wins the rest of this. So
what?
Well, actually, I guess we'll see. Next, we have to do this pairing of Game & Watch and Duck Hunt.
Whew. Yeah, very similar. It's a hard choice to make. I guess it's just like they're both pretty well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
They're both classic characters, classic Nintendo characters.
I have a vote.
I think I have. Ooh. Do you have a vote, Mark?
Yeah, so this is where I'm going to be a little like, ooh, I'm like, like the Russian judge in figure skating where I'm like trying to knock somebody down a peg. And so I'm gunning to take out Mr. Game & Watch, who is a character I don't like playing against.
Very fair.
So
okay,
I don't want to see him advance.
All right, so you're voting for Duck Hunt.
I'm voting for Duck Hunt.
I'm voting for Duck Hunt.
I will also vote for Duck Hunt.
So long, Mr. Game & Watch. Okay, so now I guess we have to decide between these two characters that have both lost one round.
Yes,
So
Duck
it's-
Hunt and
Jigglypuff.
My vote, I mean, this is not a hard choice for me. My vote goes for Jigglypuff.
Between Jigglypuff and Duck Hunt?
Yeah.
You just know she'll lose to Captain Falcon. Wait a minute, I see how this is going.
Well, here's the thing, is that Duck Hunt lost to Captain Falcon just a couple rounds ago. That's what bumped him down into the loser's bracket to begin with.
Right.
In the matchup of Jigglypuff versus Duck Hunt, I go with Duck Hunt. Richie, you're the deciding vote.
As the guest. Both these are both characters that you
This is so
All
hard.
three,
voted
right?
for. All three, yeah.
You know, here's my conundrum now. I know Jigglypuff can't beat Captain Falcon. I know it. And
Right.
I hate it. But I know it. And do I want to put her through that again? I
It's
don't
tough.
know.
It's tough.
On the other hand, she would be second place. She'd be runner up. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I vote for Jigglypuff.
All right, there
Well,
goes the
and-
Duck Hunt
and-
dog, and I don't know if I'm talking to you guys for the rest of the night.
Well, and Duck Hunt is great, but it's like Jigglypuff to me is the spirit of Nintendo.
Oh my God, that
And-
can't be true, Richie.
In that, hold on. There's a lot of people out there. Think about
All around the world.
when the Wii U came out.
All right.
There's a lot of people out there that said this system sucks.
I am so into this.
This system was not good.
I
What
actually think
what
this
are
is a
they
great
thinking?
comparison.
What are they thinking? And Nintendo, instead of sulking and giving up,
Mm-hmm.
they went home and they said, "We're gonna do better." And you know what I think? I think they were a little angry, maybe at themselves, maybe at the world for not seeing their vision, and maybe at themselves for not bringing that vision to life. And I think they came back and they said, "Here's what we are. We're proud of it. We want the world to see. Here's the Nintendo Switch."
Connect that to Jigglypuff, mother. You almost made me swear on my own podcast.
Now, when you watch the Pokemon animated series, Jigglypuff loves to sing,
Mm-hmm.
but no one likes Jigglypuff's song. And in fact, they all fall asleep when she sings it. And Jigglypuff gets sad and hurt by that every single time. But does she give up?
Mm.
No, she goes home. She screws the cap off of her microphone and reveals a permanent marker, draws on their faces, and then she sings again. And that song is the Nintendo Switch.
So your argument for the Jigglypuff
Yes, which
is
is
that no one likes her.
but she perseveres,
I see,
and
regardless.
eventually
Mm-hmm.
she makes something beautiful. And in one episode, she got really big and sang in a deep voice.
Well, I see Jigglypuff a little bit like Nintendo in the sense that, she is cute
Mhm.
and unassuming, and people
Mhm.
assume because she's not like hardcore
Yeah,
that
She's
she
not a
can't be, like, cool, that she
Charizard.
can't be like cool
Mhm.
and powerful and do cool things. And I think sometimes Nintendo gets
Gets put in that
painted
same
in
box.
the
Yeah.
kitty box when in
but
actuality they can be really
Xbox
awesome.
lovers who are a little edgy like Captain Falcon,
Mm-hmm.
a little edgy, kind of annoyingly edgy Xbox people like Captain Falcon.
Now, as much as I like this metaphor for Pikachu, my vote goes for
Jigglypuff.
Captain.
Jigglypuff.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
as
That
much-
still hurts.
Mark is still just imagining this is Pikachu. He wasn't eliminated right away.
Jigglypuff is Pikachu's best friend.
I think my vote goes for Captain Falcon.
No,
Yeah, my you can't
Mine-
say no.
mine
You
as
can't say
well.
no to that.
mine as well.
Yeah.
It's the correct vote.
I
as
think
much
that's
as I
right.
like, I'm shocked, Jigglypuff. I'm sure just because I'm a guest on the program, you're all humoring my love for this Pokemon.
That's right. But it was
it
fun
should
to
have
humor.
it should have been the Duck Hunt dog. Or,
no.
or
There's-
Mario.
No. There's no should have. The correct answer is Captain Falcon.
Yes, that's right. It's
We did it.
unquestionable.
We
Yeah.
did it.
Our rankings are, of course, always definitive.
Falcon, punch.
But if you have suggestions for or any corrections on how we read any of these characters, you could always send those to Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com or tweet at us. We're at Nincart Society and all that good stuff.
I mean, there's a lot of characters that didn't even make any of our top
Every
fives.
character in this box is good. I will say that. Minus real quick, who's the worst character? Everyone just say it. You got 10 seconds to decide.
All right.
Mine's Bowser Jr. just because I hate that guy.
I like Bowser Jr. though because you can make him be one of the Koopa kids. That's his alternate costumes.
It's not about arguing. We just have to decide who's the worst.
I understand. I don't like King DDD. I don't understand him. I think he's dumb.
I love him. You're wrong. Marth. I don't even like saying Marth.
Are you a Fire Emblem guy? Do you like the Fire Emblem games?
Nope.
Richie? They're so good.
Yeah, I've never played one. I never will.
Mark?
Marth.
Mark. Oh, I thought
he's Bowser Jr.
My vote was for Bowser Jr. Yeah.
Well, everyone's wrong.
There's no bad characters.
The real worst one is Olimar. We all know that's true.
That's true.
Richie, is there anything you would like to plug?
Yeah, if you play Dungeons and Dragons, which you should. If you don't, you should go to the DMs Guild, which is where people can publish various adventures and stuff, and search for my name, Richie Root, and you'll find a whole bunch of products and like cool, fun characters and stuff that you can bring to your home games. And yeah,
super cool. Richie, thank you for helping us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Find the best character.
You guys for having me. It's been fun.
Big surprises, a lot of broken hearts, but we did it.
That's the way it goes.
If you have a different opinion from ours, that's fine. We would like to hear who you think the best character in Smash is. So you should email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com, and we will happily slot that character into second place. And thanks again to Richie for coming out and doing that with us. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so glad that Jigglypuff didn't end up making it.
It would be,
as the definitive character.
That would be a weird, because we would have to agree on it.
Right.
And then that would be something that I would have to present at every social gathering I go to for the rest of my life. I'd have to butt in when we're talking about something else and say, by the way, I believe Jigglypuff is the best character in Super Smash Brothers. And then I would be ostracized.
Social pariah.
Yeah, which is maybe already a condition we're dealing with. Who knows? All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you would please rate, review, subscribe, and all that good stuff on Apple Podcasts, that helps us out a bunch. If you like this episode, please share on Twitter and Facebook. If you would like to follow Mark or I on Twitter, I am at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell. And collectively, we are at Nincart Society. The Facebook page is Nintendo Cartridge Society. And how's this end?
Olivia Duncan made our logo.
She did.
Our theme music is by 8-Bit Betty. You can hear more of 8-Bit Betty's music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. I can't remember how this part goes.
For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening. Not that easy.